It's outdated, it belongs in your grandfather's cabinet. It's pretty much one of those 1980s old school gear. This is everything you need to know about Winstrol. What's going on, boys? Kai here from Formula Secrets, and if you're completely brand new to my channel, guys, hit that subscribe button because I guarantee I'll elevate your life overall. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is Winstrol, specifically because just for the sake of going back to the old archives, feeling nostalgic, and just talking about the old ways of doing it back then, even though there's still some guys now who are still using Winstrol, even though it's outdated and it's much more far superior gears out there, like what I'm homebrewing right here, which is Masteron. Even though it's not new, there are plenty of people out there who are completely not initiated with Masteron. But there's the reason why we're going to talk about Winstrol today and why this is much more superior than Winstrol. So the very first time, guys, just to let you guys know, by the way, before I start getting into my rambling and all that stuff, Winstrol is a cutting agent. Now, back then, you know, people in the past, especially me back then, one of my very first cycles was actually Winstrol. It was testosterone and Winstrol. Now, I didn't know any better. I thought that was the only cutting agent that was available for me because, you know, what people talk about back then is like, you know, if you want to shred up, if you want to look lean, if you want to do all that stuff, you need to take Winstrol. So that's what I did. One of my very first cycles, test Winstrol, Anavar, and some kind of anti-estrogen, right? Now, back then, I thought it was awesome. Like the first 3-4 weeks or so, everything was amazing. I started looking a lot leaner. I started getting that whole glycogen depleted look when you're cutting for water weight and all that stuff. Everything started to look really amazing. And I got the vascularity, I started getting my abs, and everything started to look good. Until about week 5 started kicking in. And this is where I really disliked Winstrol after that. So I'm thinking, okay, I put on my shoes for the very first morning around week 5. I'm like, oh, my ankles kind of hurt. Okay, that's fine. I mean, maybe I just did a little bit too much heavy squatting that week or something like that. And then I started walking to, you know, the second story of my job back then, and I usually take the stairs. And I'm thinking, oh, my knee started hurting. Maybe it's because I'm getting really heavy. The fact that, you know, I'm putting on a lot of weight, and I did, on top of, you know, cutting calories and all that stuff, because testosterone is so amazing, it'll make you put on weight while you're under cutting. But at the same time, I want to get a little bit more shredded as well, a whole lot more shredded actually, and that's where I added Winstrol. So after a while, that day, everything started hurting really bad. My joints, my achiness, everything just started feeling bad. And I can tell the difference between muscle soreness and joint achiness. And then after the next day, that's when I just concluded, oh my God, I felt like an 80-year-old man walking everywhere. I would turn, it would hurt. I could see why old people walk the way they do, because everything hurts, their bones hurt. That's exactly how it felt. And the only conclusion that came with it was Winstrol. So even though I was starting to get the leanness and the shreddedness and the vascularity, even, it looked amazing, I could barely move. It was so painful. I would open my car door super slowly. The joints in my fingers hurt right here. Anytime I would write something, well, more like type anything, it would completely hurt. And it was the only thing that I could think of was that, because I've taken Anavar before by itself, I've taken testosterone before by itself, and I only added one new thing, which was Winstrol. So for some guys, they don't experience that, but for majority of the guys, when it comes to Winstrol, either oral or pinning it, I was pinning it, by the way, because I didn't want, you know, my liver to go through all that stuff already, because I was already taking Anavar. And I started pinning Winstrol, the first 4 weeks, amazing stuff. I started getting the results pretty much right away. The only bad thing is for the rest of my cycles, which is a 12-week cycle, the rest of the month 2 and 3, oh my God, you guys, I felt like one of those old people that need like one of those wheelchair thingies with tennis balls in the back where you could just glide right through. I wish I had that. That's one of those days too where I would go into Target or Walmart or any shopping center. I'm like seriously contemplating, should I get those wheelchair scooter thingies that, you know, obese, fat, or old people use? I was that close of getting it, but at the same time, you know what? Let me, you know, not put my pride aside. Let me just walk. But my God, you guys, everything was so painful. The worst one wasn't my joints and my knees or my ankles, stuff like that, because I, you know, on top of me playing piano and just for hobbies and stuff like that, I do type a lot. At least back then. Oh my God, you guys, just typing anything, it would hurt, just grabbing anything. And at the same time, my workouts at the gym took a toll as well. Now, when you're on gear, you don't need to lift as heavy or do as many volumes, stuff like that, because the gear will actually do the work for you. Again, guys, we're not trying to be Django. I'm not trying to get whipped in the back to be a gym slave. I'm doing this to make an easier route to get the physique that I want, to elevate my other parts of life a lot better as well. Like my academics, my schooling, you know, my job, my career, and all that stuff. That's the reason why I jumped on gear in the first place. Now, I do love lifting as well. And I couldn't enjoy my lifting as much when I was on Winstrol, because even though I looked the part, I did look good. It was awesome, and I thank Winstrol for that, right? Because I never gotten that vascularity before in my life before I did Winstrol. But with that being said, working out at the gym, oh Jesus, it was so bad. It was so bad, you guys. I felt like I need like all the old people medicine, like glucosamine and all these joint pains and then bone pains and all that stuff. I felt like I need to drink my milk. I felt like I need, what do you call it? One of those scooter things wherever I went as well. It was just really that bad. And by the time I got off of Winstrol after my 12-week cycle, it started getting a bit better, but the pain was still there. You know, 2 months later, after I was completely done with that cycle and I was on my post-cycle therapy, I still felt it, you guys. It was still there. It wasn't as painful, but you could still feel the joint getting dry and all that stuff, because that's what Winstrol does. It dries dry. There's a rare few people out there, I'm not saying this is for everybody, a rare few people who do not experience this. Now, there's two things, you know, that's gonna be contributing to that. Either they're not taking real Winstrol, because for the most part, everybody who takes Winnie, they feel that achiness the joint is, or it was completely underdosed. It's one of those things, because here's the thing about that, guys. When you take Winstrol, that's part of it, because yeah, it will definitely clear the subcutaneous water sitting under your skin, because that's what gives you that shredded, lean look. But at the same time, it also dries out your joints, and that's that bony, crunchy feeling that you feel on your fingers, on your joints, on your knees, and all that stuff. So even though it did the job what it was supposed to, you know, I didn't know any better back then. That's what I took, is that's the only thing you hear in the past. But now there's far better things, like what I'm home brewing right here, like Masteron, for example. It gives the same, or yields the same exact results as Winstrol, but without the joint pains, without the achiness, without feeling like you're an 80-year-old man who needs to go out for brunch at like 4 o'clock in the morning, just like what old people do. By the way, I cannot wait to do that. I can't wait to be some old man walking around with a cane thingy with the tennis balls at the bottom. David, give me that wheelchair thingy that you walk around with, those walker things. Anyways, guys, yeah, that was my experience with Winstrol. Now, the whole point of this, guys, I'm not bashing Winstrol. Again, people in the past did what they need to do to get the shreddedness of what they were looking for the gear that they had available back then. But now, it's 2018. Time to move on to bigger, better things like right here. At the same time, guys, for those of you guys who are not initiated, I promise you, the athletes that I put on, they by far love Masteron way better than Winstrol. So till next time, guys, hit that subscribe button. Right next to that, hit that notification bell. Kai here, from Secrets here, out. Take care, fellas.